Good morning, Gunner.
Morning, how you doing?
Good. I'm excited to talk about this stuff today. It's
Me
something that
too.
I had on my mind and I want to know more about it. So, as we educate our listeners at large, you'll also be helping me understand because, as you know, I've never been in a market shift like this before. I've only been a realtor now for, during basically COVID times. So, this is an awesome learning opportunity and it's been super beneficial for my business overall, and I know you've learned a lot as well. So I'm going to share the screen really quickly, and then you can take it away. And I'm going to have some questions too. Okay.
Cool. Just interrupt me whenever.
All right. I'll be polite. All right. You see my screen?
Yep.
All right. This is what you sent me, and you've got a lot of highlighting going on here, 4 columns. I have no idea what's going on. So just talk to me a little bit about the loan today. I do understand that, and then go from there.
Okay. So the loan today, like right now, there's a lot of hesitancy with buyers, right? There's with rates at 7%. It's not that the 7% rate monthly payment is just astronomical. It's just that it's large compared to 3 and 4% rates we were talking about a year ago, right? Like this is the quickest climb in interest rates that we've seen, but historically, this is where rates should settle, right? And I'll get into that here in a minute. But on the left-hand column, on the left-hand side of your screen, you got what a loan would look like today at a $400,000 purchase price. Okay, good
Okay.
there.
Yep.
Of that, rates at 7%. This is assuming no seller credits, and Alex, you can attest to you can get seller credits right now to kind of help buy down that 7% to where maybe it is a 6.5% rate.
Right.
That's I'm seeing that right now in my world. So this is like worst case scenario. You don't get any seller credits. You're paying a 7% interest rate. Your monthly payment in the bottom highlight there is $2,528 a month.
Okay. I
Okay.
don't feel like that's very much money for a $400,000 house. Like I feel like that's like so close to what it was for my $400,000 buyers not that long ago. Am I wrong?
No, 100% right. I mean, it's just like I said, we've but between what the media is producing right now, they're unfortunately bad news sells. So the biggest hike in interest rate, this is the biggest hike in interest rates that we've seen because typically rates creep up and
Okay.
then creep down.
Yeah.
There's not normally a drastic shoot up like there is, but this needed to happen. This was correctional, right? I
Yeah.
do think it's inflated right now due to inflation. So I think we're going to see those rates kind of trickle back down a little bit,
Yeah.
but not where they were, right? Like
Okay.
this is the new norm of rates.
Yeah. And I know that here you have kind of like what could happen. We're going to talk through like a couple scenarios here. So I think the second column is like, okay, let's talk about if the prices continue to increase as we've seen them like kind of continuing, because we went over some economics not that long ago, and it was definitely like, alas, all things, home prices has continued to hold value and be up and to the right. So your scenario here is that prices continue to increase and the rates decrease slightly.
Correct. Yeah. So this one is when rates decrease. We need to understand that a lot of individuals that I talk to, everyone thinks rates are going to come down. Like that's a common thought process between buyers right now. Rates are going to come down, and they're 100% right with that very very broad brush statement, right?
Yeah.
How much they're going to come down is a different story. And then what's going to happen with rates when they come down, right? So let's think about when rates come down, buyers' affordability, aka what I feel like I can afford for my household, is going to increase.
Yeah.
Therefore, all the individuals that have said, I'm going to wait on rates to come down, are going to come back into the market. When that happens, supply and demand, right? Prices will increase. Okay.
Yeah.
So that's the factor that a lot of people leave out of this equation that you cannot forget about because it's 100% going to happen. It's basic economics. So this
Wait, let
one,
me hold you really quick.
yep,
Um, because I agree with that. It's kind of going to be like if the rates do drop down, like we're going to see 2021 all over again. We're just going to see a lot of buyers in the market kind of fighting over the beautiful homes. And we did see in our economics presentation last week that there's a projected 1.7 million new homeowners in the market in 2023. And per the, I don't know, building association,
yep,
I don't know how they come up with the numbers, there's a million homes charted to be built. So we're already at a 700,000 home deficit. So we are still going to be in a housing shortage next year, just as we have been. It's not going to make up the difference. Is that what I understood?
You're 100% right, and let's not escape the fact that we're still in a housing shortage right now. Like
Okay.
there's still a shortage. There's just a suppression in demand due to this reality of interest rates, right? Like interest rates have made people take a step back for just a minute, just until they either reevaluate that this is the new norm or rates do take a small decrease.
Yeah.
One of those two things is going to happen.
Right.
Both equal more demand.
Okay. So talk to me about what happens in my dream world when everything goes just right and like what my monthly payment looks like then.
In your dream world, rates are going to decrease considerably, right? They're going to go down. I'm using a conservative 5%. I don't want to get on here and say that I think rates are going to hit 5%. I just don't think that's going to happen. The data is not there. The economics aren't there for that to happen.
Right.
However, let's say they do, absolutely you should wait, right? Even if prices increase to $440,000 and rates drop down to 5%, wait, you're saving $500 a month, right? That's the mindset. The alternative is you're paying rent while you're waiting, right?
Yeah.
Like rates don't hit 5% overnight. That takes years to come down from a 7.5 or a 7 to a 5. That's 2 full points that it takes to come down. Rates can jump up quickly, right? Things in the market can happen, but that come down is much slower historically. I mean, it's the proof is in the pudding there. So
absolutely. And if you look at the difference between the monthly principal today at 2,500 and in our perfect world, they sitting at 2,000, that's a $500 difference a month, but your rent is 1,700.
yeah,
So you're either throwing away $1,200 or being a homeowner. That's what I see.
exactly. You're 100% right. And then, so let's say, right, like we've heard marry the house, date the rate, right? So let's say that we are right and our perfect world comes to exist 2 years from now, right? So 2 years from now, rates hit 5% finally, right? Well, we know what it's going to be like. If we haven't bought between now and then, we know it's going to be like Black Friday. You can walk into stores on Black Friday and there's people fighting over towels,
Yeah.
right? Same thing's going to happen there. Unless you bought now, you took our advice, you bought now, you paid $2,500 a month, right? Because this last option here shows what that monthly payment would be at the refinance rate of 5%. You've been a homeowner between now and then. You haven't been throwing away $1,700 a month. You've been paying $2,500 to own the house. You've gained equity, and now, as long as you've got the equity in your house, you can roll the closing costs into the mortgage, refinance for $0 out of pocket, and your monthly payment is $2,094 compared to our perfect world scenario of waiting 2 years for that $2,040 a month.
Yeah.
So it kind of shows like, hey, it still makes sense to buy right now. It's just like that's what I love about numbers. They don't lie. Like I'm right here looking at them. It assumes a 5% appreciation in home prices, which is conservative. I think if rates dip down to 5%, that appreciation is going to be more than 5% a year. I think that's another thing. So this is a conservative outlook on numbers. Either way you calculate it.
Yeah, and I think with the 5 percent interest rate, like the refinance, I feel like refinance is like a big word that we like all hear our grandparents use, and like we still are so confused and like it's scary. But ultimately, what you've educated me on these last month or so here is that like you, the lender, take my homeowner and you evaluate the house for what it's worth on that day. You can lump in the closing cost, run it through your system, and at a relatively low cost. I mean, maybe they have to pay for an appraisal at $700 or something, but other than that, they can walk away refinanced and be paying a lower bill with a lower interest rate in their same house, same lender. And that's what I've learned from you. That's what all the boomers did this last 2 years. They took their interest rates they were paying on their homes that we all grew up in, our parents' homes. Our parents refinanced their houses. So, anyways, if you're a millennial listening to this, ask your parents how to refinance a house. They just did it. And then you get the lower interest rate that you are waiting to have, anyways. So, ultimately, if you can budget for a couple $100 a month, you can own a house right now.
Yep. And the reality is you're getting it for a cheaper deal, right? So just notice that the $400,000 price point, yeah, you're paying 7% for that for 2 years. But the alternative is if rates overnight do dip to 5%, the home prices shoot up to $440,000. So
If
you're
the
paying
interest rates
more.
dip down like that, it is going to be insanity. I don't that can't even happen because, like, the
It's literally,
people will go wild.
I mean, economically,
It'll
it cannot. It's
yeah,
not going to happen. But
yeah.
that's so much of a rabbit hole that I would have to have a conversation with each individual client that we'd end up more confused than we were before because but the economics are not there to have 5% rates
Yeah,
anymore.
yeah.
It's just not happening.
It would be like the wild thornberries out here.
That's right. Oh my gosh, you just brought back a childhood.
Eliza. Oh my goodness. I just think that it's the perfect season to buy. It's the holiday season, and with that you see a lot less um buyers just because people are like, I'm going to stay right where I'm at. So as a buyer, you have less competition overall. If you go see a house, you might be one of the only ones who saw it that day. And then additionally, as a seller, if you do sell in the holidays, less competition in your own market. So if somebody wants to move to Argyle Forest, you might be the only house available in Argyle Forest. Speaking of which, I have a listing right now in Argyle Forest with a pool. It's beautiful. If anybody wants it, I'll meet you there right now. Um, so yeah, I think this season comes change, and in the new year, we're going to see a ton more buyers. In the new year, we're going to see just a whole lot more going on. It's going to be just a stiff market overall. So I think if you want to take advantage of the slow roll, if you're somebody who likes to think methodically, move a little slower, like take your time to make a decision. Like this is the season for that kind of buyer to take advantage of what's going on.
Yeah, this is the time to, set yourself as me to set myself as an advisor, providing something like this to show people and for them to actually understand it because it's not easy to understand, right? It's a little more complicated to wrap your head around. But if you take the time and learn it, you come out better on the other side. If you just wait on it to be easy, you're going to be fighting over the house. I mean, I remember people crying. I've had people crying on the phone with
So
me.
many criers, so many tears.
They made like 10 offers on their dream house, like 10 different houses that they just fell in love with, and they didn't get it because there was 20
They
offers on
need
each house.
that.
So yeah, exactly, literally exactly.
Yeah,
So
our
I'm
friends.
trying to we're trying to look out for the buyers, but at the end of the day, they've got to want to learn this stuff because, like I say, it's not the easiest pill to swallow, but the numbers are right there, So
And everything can be budgeted for. I think that millennials make a lot of money compared to the generations before us, and I think that we can ultimately do whatever we decide to with our money. And I think that if it's something you want and you're willing to budget for it and make a plan, talk to a financial advisor, talk to a lender, come up with a game plan, that's all you got to do.
exactly,
Okay.
yeah, it's I had something I was going to leave you with, but for
It
now we'll
takes a
cut it at
team.
that. But yeah, it's call me. I'm happy to talk about this in detail with anyone. I mean, I kind of nerd out on this stuff. So
That's awesome. Well, I look forward to it. I'll talk to you soon and bye everybody.
yeah, thanks,
Happy
Alex.
November.